again, and off we drive. But if they've improved the physics, then it's not as much of an issue. Again, I haven't done... I specifically avoided bales up to this point in my playthrough because I'm at early game and it's sort of, okay, so I just harvested a field of wheat and a field of oats. They create straw bales, but if I'm not going to be doing bales in any great numbers or at all, then maybe I don't want to go out and buy a baler. I've done that in the past. I bought a baler and then baled up the straw on a field and then said, well, I just made $5,000 selling the straw bales I just created, and the baler cost me $36. So that was false economy. Now, if you've got baling equipment because you're feeding animals and you need bales of hay, grass, whatever, then yes, collect the straw, bale it, and sell it. If you need the straw for your animals, yes, bale it. But if your farm is not doing bales, it's false economy to buy a baler just so that you can sell the additional stuff that comes out of the back of a harvester. But don't miss out on that if you are doing bales, is what I'm basically saying. So we got yesterday, I think it was, collect straw on contracts or on what they don't call them contracts in this one, but yeah, there's the collect straw on missions that we've now got. They gave us the government subsidy mods, so you can get a government subsidy for 3 million an hour, and no, I think it's 3 million a day, and a municipal subsidy at something like 300 per hour, or 300,000 per day, something like that. But yeah, it gives console players a chance to make free money to get their farm set up. So I'm not going to begrudge them that. I'm probably never going to use that mod. But yeah, it's a thing that they've let us have. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, I miss the fact that you can't raise or lower buildings when you're placing a new building. That I see as a problem. I mean, here I can say, okay, I want to put a building in this field. Can I put a building in this field? Let's go sheds. Let's find a small shed like that. Oh, we're over here. So I can put a shed here, but if I bring up the help key, I can left control Q and E, change placement height. So I can lower the thing or E, raise the thing. So if I look at it and it looks like, well, those doors are way off the ground, I can lower it until the doors are at the right level. Now I might end up with grass at the back of the shed, but for the most part, that's now, at least I can drive into the shed. I'm going to have to see if Control Q and E actually works, but it doesn't come up on the help panel when you're doing building placement. So it auto places. Big Johnny 90, welcome to the stream, and happy Thanksgiving. So that's a problem, because it's always going to end up, you're going to have to, or you're probably going to have to, why aren't we going? There we go. you're probably going to have to, what am I saying? Landscape. And the landscaping, you know, raise and lower and all the rest of it are still kind of not the best thing. There's no undo button. You just have to hope you got it all right. Oh, that's bigger than I remembered. Big equipment, yay. Okay, I need to jump out, get out of the way, not get run over. Is this ready to harvest yet? No, still growing. Okay. We can jump into the truck. So that's going to cultivate that field area for us. I still want, we're going to have to go back, get the plough, and chop down the wood, trees, things, the bits. What else? What else did we like about Farm Sim 22? Like I said, there's a couple of sort of unannounced enhancements that you look at and you say, oh, that's nice and cool. As I said, some of the mods I play with, it's almost I need these mods in order for me to be happy playing. It's sort of, oh, that's in the game already. Well, nice, thank you. Front loaders, that was one thing I've not made use of it because, like I said, I haven't done anything with trees. But do I have the bio belts loaded? We'll probably get a lot of CSC adapters again. This thing here. This was my go-to in 17, it's my go-to in 19 because it has two arms at the top, it stabilizes any tree it picks up. You still have to come down vertically, so point the prongs at the floor, drop it on the tree, and then fold these in, and it will usually scoop the tree up into that area there. But this thing is absolutely awesome. And for similar reasons, that thing sucks because it's only got the one arm, and so the trees are constantly wobbling up and down in this. Farm Sim 22, we got one that at least looks like that. I don't know if it's as good, but we got a new one. Or we got a more stable looking. Oh, we got a new mod today. Okay, I did check on mods before I started setting up this morning, and there weren't any new mods when I looked, so that must have dropped immediately, very, very recently. What do we get? Let me know. Put me out of my anticipation thing, whatever the word is. Still having word problems. I've drunk all my tea, and let's avoid the train. Traffic is seriously improved, finally. I don't have to drive around at 5 miles an hour stuck behind it keeps headers raised when you turn them on. Oh, okay. Frankly, I'd be more interested in a auto stop, because especially on when I'm streaming, the last thing I need is to be harvesting and then not pay attention, harvesting and texting, and just ploughing up a ton of crop, or just driving through a ton of crop. It's just sort of the stop harvester mod, which I do use here. As soon as the harvester hits 100% full, it stops, slams the brakes on, puts out the auger. So I want that, just because it makes it makes streaming easier because I don't have to pay attention. I can be reading the chat and then, oh, the harvester's full up. Okay, fine. Not a big deal. Although that did just remind me of something, and I've now forgotten it again. Oh, yes. So there is a setting on Farm Sim 22 which you can set your trailers to stop loading based on weight. And I didn't really understand what that meant until I did some rock picking. And I picked up a whole ton of rocks, and I just dumped them in my yard because I was leasing the rock picker, and I didn't want to drive all the way across the map and rack up potential leasing fees on the rock picker. So all I did was I picked up the rocks, I dropped them in the main yard, and then I went and got a front loader and bucket and started shoveling said rocks into my trailer. Now my trailer has 20-odd thousand litre capacity. So yay, let's fill that thing up. I'm sure I haven't got 20,000 litres of rocks. Except I got to 8,000 litres of rocks and it stopped loading. It would not let me load anymore. Because rocks are a damn sight heavier than grain is. And we had reached the weight capacity of the trailer. Now you can turn that off and load 20,000 litres of rocks into your trailer. But that explained what that setting meant. Up until that point, I wasn't entirely sure, what it was talking about. But you can load trailers based on weight and volume, and it defaults to off. So the default is your trailer is limited by volume, but you can turn it to limited by weight, which might be a consideration if you have smaller tractors that struggle to haul your trailer. You don't want your 20,000 litre trailer loaded with 22 tons of rocks that your tractor now has a problem hauling. Okay. I honestly don't know what state the autoload is. There we go. Oh. Well, nuts. Let's back up and get that thing reloaded. Turn the help screen on. Transporting position, operating position, autoload. Turn it back to transporting position. Pull forwards. And I actually unloaded the bales onto the back of the trailer, which I wasn't intending to do there. I'm going to edge that over very slightly that way. Okay. And plonk them on the floor. Good start. Drop. Transporting position. Help screen off. Go. Oh, and there's a weird functionality on connecting and disconnecting. I think the idea is that I could now drop everything that's attached to a tractor in one place without having to do the uncouple shuffle. So, for example, I'm trying to think where we do. If I've got a front loader that's got a bucket and the arms on the front of a tractor, I have to drop the bucket off, then back away, and then I can drop the arms off, because if I click on the connect disconnect, while I'm still in detect range of the bucket, it will automatically reconnect to the front loader arms. Now you have to select the piece of equipment that you want to be working on. So if I want to disconnect this trailer, it appears that I have to select the trailer in order to disconnect it. Excuse me, I'm going to go silent for a minute. Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, I can actually set an example here. As soon as the truck's full, we'll park it over here, and I forgot we still have things to wrap. Let's stick that back on transport. So over here I have a tractor with a weight and a baler on the back. To disconnect the baler, I would select the baler, I would disconnect it. The baler is now disconnected. The tractor is highlighted, which means if I click the button that connects, so in my case button 20, attaches and detaches, it will reattach the baler because the baler is detected. But if I click to there and select the weight and then click disconnect, it would disconnect the weight. In this situation, it's reconnected the baler. I have to select the weight and then select disconnect. It'll drop the weight, but in order to be able to drop the baler, I have to shuffle away from the weight so that it's no longer detected, and then select the baler and disconnect that. So now the tractor has no implements attached to it. But that's what I have to do in 19. In 20, I have to drive up to here. If I click, the weight's in range, so it will load the weight. Now if I back up, the weight is selected. If I click again to attach, it would actually detach the weight. It would not attach the baler. I have to select the tractor and then attach in order to attach the baler. That's a change in how things happen in Farm Sim 22, which actually is quite appreciable because it now lets me, especially on a front loader, I can disconnect the bucket and I can disconnect the arms without having to do that shuffle and not have to park them in different places or move back 3 feet in order to not be able to detect not be able to detect the shovel that I just put on the ground. Oops, I pressed the wrong buttons. So that's kind of nice, but it's going to take a little bit to get used to, in that you have to select the tractor in order to attach what's lying on the ground next to you. And if you've got multiple bits of equipment, attached and you have one of those selected, if you detach, it will detach that piece of equipment. It won't attach the weight that's sitting in front of you, for example. So I think, you know, on the whole, it's a good gameplay improvement, but we're so used to the old way of doing things, it's going to take a little bit of a learning curve to actually get it. Let's go that way. Yeah, actually get it so that it is second nature. And yay. Oops. There. So yeah, that's, for the most part, that's my thing. I think they are definitely encouraging production chains. You are not going to make significant money just being a farmer. If you add production chains, it is going to make you more money. Although I don't think significantly more. Doing canola oil, I think I noticed the price of canola oil is it? No, I looked at wheat. So the price of wheat is $700. The price of flour is 50% higher. So you'll get $1,200 to sell the flour. But you only get an 80% yield when you turn wheat into flour. So if you've got 1,000 litres of flour of wheat, you'll only make 800 litres of flour. But the flour is worth more by about 50%. So you'd be talking, if wheat was £1,000 per litre or $1,000 per litre, and you have 1,000 litres of wheat, then you would make $1,000. You would make 800 litres of flour, and you would sell that flour for, I messed up again. You would sell that flour for $1,200. So it's still $200 more to make the flour. But it costs you, $1 to create the flour, and you need to own the production facility. So, it's not, you will make tons more, but you will generally make more if you get involved in production chains. So I'm I think we're going to see far more people getting into production chains far more early. And if you're going to get into production chains, you're going to be a specialist farmer, I think. Because you can't afford, initially you can't afford all the production chains. So you're going to have to decide, I'm going into textiles, I'm going to buy the fabric making thing, and I'm going to grow sheep and cotton. And I'm not going to bother too much with wheat and barley and all the rest of the stuff, because I can't use it in my production chain. So, I think that's going to be a thing. But as I was saying earlier, I think you can now be a specialist in anything with the farm manager mode. You get 1.5 million, which gets you a lot of land, a basic set of equipment, even I'm guessing you could even use the John Deere cotton harvester, but still you can afford to buy one of these, or you could afford to buy one of these, or you could afford to buy one of these. we have a big starting amount. I mean, you get lots of land for $500,000. You can build your farm superstructure on $500,000. Storage sheds and how do I fold that up? That button. And what have you. And so it's being a specialist farmer in some of the more esoteric specialties is actually feasible with $1.5 million. And you can buy enough land to make it profitable. The problem is, in Farm Sim 19, if I buy a potato harvester, then I need a planter, then I need a tractor, then I need the sprayers and everything. I don't need the sprayers. We'll live with the yield in the first year. I can buy sprayers next year. I can't buy enough land to make to justify purchasing that level of equipment. But I think with the extra 300,000, you can buy some big fields. So that's one of the things I'm looking at. And then obviously, if you go into potatoes, you want a production facility that deals with potatoes. I don't know if there's a potato chip production facility yet. But if there isn't, someone will probably mod one in at some point. So effectively, what do we have here? Global company, kind of incorporated into the base game now. So creating manufacturing facilities. It's included, all of the scripting is included in the game. So you just need to create a building, tell it what inputs it needs and what it outputs, and it'll do it for you. Good stuff. But I think, on the whole, the enhancements they've given us are very good. I'm kind of less impressed personally with graphical improvements because a DOS 6 game can be a good game. There are some old DOS 6 games which I still miss playing on my PCs today because I can't. I don't have the copies of them anymore. They're on floppy disk and I can't get them loaded onto a PC that doesn't even have a CD drive. But there are some old games that I really enjoyed playing. The graphics sucked because it was DOS 6. But that doesn't change the fact the gameplay was good. So long as the gameplay is good, I will like a game. You could have absolutely awesome graphics on a game. And if I don't enjoy the gameplay, then I don't care how good the graphics are. So for Farming Simulator, I enjoy playing the game. Good graphics, bonus. But it's not going to make me choose to not buy the game because the graphics suck, or to buy the game because suddenly this has awesome graphics. Oh my goodness, just look, it's to die for. But so I don't mind that the graphics have been updated. It's not something that makes me want to go out and buy a game. It has to be the gameplay. So yes, thankful for enhanced graphics, but it's not going to change my mind on the game. I mean, even Farm Sim 19, this whole environment, yes, it's like driving down a country lane in England. Absolutely. So where are we going? don't even know how many more bales I've got left to collect. And I don't know how many. I think we had about 160. And this thing carries a ton. Oh, mind out, sheep. Wee. I did like the fact that the animals will now, when you empty food into the trough, after you buy them, they all come running over